Support for Sportspage is provided by the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jenny's emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower floor of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for Sportspage is provided by 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and WarrensburgRadio.com. 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and WarrensburgRadio.com, the radio home of UCM Athletics. This week on the Central Missouri Sports Page, Mules football coach Jim Svoboda joins us to talk about the big win over Lindenwood, and we'll look ahead to the 97th meeting between the Mules and Truman State this Saturday night in Kirksville. We'll also visit with UCM cross-country coach Kirk Pederson. The Mules and Jennies have put together some quality performances so far this year, and we'll talk to Kirk about the potential of the teams in 2013. In our Sports Page Spotlights, we'll meet Mules junior tight end Cullen Rosine from nearby Knob Noster and Mules cross-country runner Adam Tredway from Louisiana, Missouri. All of that and more is straight ahead here on the Central Missouri Sports Page. Hello again, everybody, and thanks for watching the University of Central Missouri Sports Page. I'm Shawn Jones, and joining me to kick off the show is Mules football coach Jim Svoboda. Coach Svoboda, welcome back.
Hi, Shawn.
Well, a great victory last Saturday over Lindenwood. The guys hung in there, and they were rewarded for their efforts.
They really did, and you know, after a couple of disappointing losses and a couple of games we really felt like we had a great chance to win, maybe should have won, and then to be behind at halftime against a good team at home. I was just really impressed with how our kids played in the second half. It was inspiring.
You know, last week we talked about the need to run the ball better. We talked about the importance of a better finish. You rushed for 186 yards, and you go on a 27-0 run to finish the game. I'd say you accomplished the goal there.
We really did, and it's just, I don't know, with this crew, it seems like it's got to be the hard way a little bit. We could have probably salted the game away a little bit earlier than we did, but you got to give Lindenwood credit. They had a good game plan coming in with their passing game and kind of had our defense on their heels for really kind of the first time this year. And offense really responded, and we mixed it up well. And, of course, scoring all those points in a row made a big difference.
You've had a chance now, obviously, to evaluate the tape, take a look at everything. What do you see maybe as some of the biggest positives from the game?
Well, as you mentioned, the run game, and actually it was probably over 200 yards. We had minus, I don't know, 20 yards from the snap over the punter's head there. So that was a positive. You know, ironically, the week before against Northwest, we had 2 penalties. We had 10 penalties in this game, and we won. But it seemed like we had all those penalties on one drive. So you never have, you know, feel good about having that number of penalties. But at the same time, you know, the intensity and the passion with which our kids played was, you know, overcame a lot of that stuff.
Last Saturday was the family weekend game at UCM. We talked last week about the record enrollment, 12,494. Well, we had a crowd on family weekend because of that outstanding enrollment of over 11,000. And for a team who had 2 heartbreaking losses at this level, to come home and play in front of 11,000 folks, that's a huge lift.
It really was, and what a great day. Everything was perfect. The weather was perfect. The crowd was, you know, rowdy and big, and so it was great for our kids.
As Coach Svoboda and I continue to visit, we'll look at the highlights on what was a gorgeous Saturday for football in Warrensburg. The Mules and Lindenwood, their first trip to the Berg. The Mules had won 2 straight games in St. Charles, and this is a pretty neat moment. First drive of the game, Lindenwood wins the coin toss. They take it, and there's Zach Quinas from Mililani, Hawaii on family weekend with his family here watching him in college for the first time with a pick 6. That's storybook type stuff.
That was great, and got a chance to meet his family before the game, and I'm sure they were excited.
You know, really, the coin toss turned out to be a key in this game. They won the coin toss, took the ball. You got a pick 6. You got the ball in the second half to begin because of that selection and scored.
Yeah, it's always big in the third quarter to be able to do that, especially when you're behind. You got a chance to take the lead.
One thing you will say, though, this Dylan Miller, the son of longtime NFL quarterback Chris Miller, very accurate, very steady, and he just led Lindenwood right back down the field.
Yeah, he's pretty cool back there, and you know, we weren't getting a lot of pressure on him early, and he put the ball on the money.
Speaking of putting the ball on the money, Great camera shot here. How about Hayden Hawk? Running, setting, firing, tight spiral on the money. That's pretty.
Unbelievable pass right there.
Hayden Hawk, yeah, back in the pocket, getting it over to the goal line for a score. I believe that was Kirkwood who got in there, and Anthony had a big day. He ran the ball well, he caught the ball well.
Yeah, 180 all-purpose yards.
So the Mules come right back, and at this point we know, okay, here we go. We're in for a football shootout.
Yeah, it kind of looked that way, that's for sure, because they were answering, and we were moving the ball well too.
And here's Lindenwood to answer. They get it. And again, at this point, as we've not played a whole lot of football, as you'll see there on the scoreboard, and we're about to be tied up at 14. And it's one of those deals where the teams came in, coached 642 yards per game in passing combined, and early on, neither team disappointed. They played about like their stats.
Yeah, there was a lot of balls in the air, and quarterbacks were really playing well.
Kind of behind the play here. Unfortunately, the defense let Robinson get over the top, and he was a very good receiver. I will tell you this, Coach, I've watched a lot of D2 football. There were about as many good receivers on display in this game as you're going to see.
Yeah, between the two teams, I can't imagine there was a game that had more great receivers.
4 receivers in the game with over 100 receiving yards, 2 for us, 2 for them. One of them was right there, Ron Reed-Lloyd. Missed that extra point. We've got to clean that up.
Yeah, it's those are hard to explain, but we just got to concentrate better.
And the Mules coming back now, again down a point. There's Hayden waiting, finding Levance out in the flat, and Levance kind of crescendoed in this game. He just got going, got better and better throughout.
Yeah, we did some things to suit his game a little bit better, and he really came through.
But here you see Lindenwood on the march, and Lindenwood's Marvin Bird into the end zone. The extra point is good, and at this point you're thinking, uh-oh, that was after a bad snap on a punt. They go 23 yards, they score. You're down 28-20. The last 3 minutes plus of the second half, or second quarter rather, turned out to be the difference in the game. You scored, beautiful play here, you didn't let them score.
Right, yeah, the stand our defense had right before halftime was huge.
And there's Hayden running straight ahead 13 yards. Spread it out. I gave you the credit on the radio for the play call along with Coach Lambeau, and you said he decided that on his own.
Yeah, he saw nobody in the middle there. We were in an empty backfield, and he just took it up the middle.
Situation called for going for 2, just missed there. That's the best corner in D2, Pierre DeSirio, playing the NFL, knocking that away. So it's 28-26 because you did not allow them to score there on that quick shot of the last drive. So you're only down 2 at halftime. That was a big finish to the second quarter.
It sure was. Yeah, I was proud of our defense there and really shut them out the rest of the way.
Yeah,
going on.
The second half was just tremendous. There's Cullen Rosine from Knob Noster. We'll spotlight him later. 21-0 run in the second half. What were the adjustments that you made at halftime to make it so effective?
Well, we were moving the ball pretty well on offense, so we just talked about, what we wanted to come back to and some of the new stuff we were going to look at, and the defense decided to put a little more pressure on their quarterback.
Nice catch there by Tristan McClellan on the sideline. He had a couple of those in the second half, too.
He really did, and a lot of good deep balls to him, which is what we need him to do.
Saw Levance running the ball, and there's Hayden throwing the ball into the end zone for the score. That was, I believe, Ron Reed-Lloyd that caught that touchdown pass, and his second of the game. He was over 100 receiving yards along with Tristan McClellan. So you're getting stops and you're getting points. Just really a pretty second half, and here was a huge key. You guys took it in chunks on the ground. Ray Harris, the freshman from Fort Zumwalt West, with a big carry, but Ray and Levance on the ground outstanding in half 2.
Yeah, just need to give those guys a crack to get them to the second level.
Another great camera shot there, too, right to Tristan McClellan in the end zone. Boy, Hayden, he can throw from the pocket, he can get out and run, and he throws a pretty ball.
Yeah, he had two touchdown passes going to his left, which is pretty remarkable. He can really spin it.
And there are balls knocked away as the Lions were going for it, and the defense pretty solid in this game too. One thing, Coach, we talk about the offense, pitching a shutout against a team as offensive as Lindenwood in the second half is pretty impressive.
Yeah, especially when you give up 28 in the first half, and didn't look like there was signs of slowing them down. So defensive coaches, Coach Jeter and the crew back there did a great job of adjusting at halftime.
There you see the numbers. Hayden Hawk, 31 for 39, 408 passing yards, 8th most in single game in school history, 5 TD passes, ties for 2nd most in school history, 1 rushing TD. Great day for the junior from Coppell, Texas. Levance Taylor rushed for 101 yards on 19 carries. been a little over a year since he'd gone for over 100. Anthony Kirkwood, 7 catches and a TD. Ronry Lloyd, 5 catches, 102 and 2 TDs. Tristan McClellan, 5 catches, 100 yards and a TD. Cullen Rosine, 5 catches and a touchdown. Zach Quinas, a pick 6, 6 tackles. Ricky Spratley, 11 tackles to pace the defense. When you go on a 27-0 run, there are a lot of superlatives, a lot of guys playing well.
Yeah, that was like, moment for us that we've been waiting for a while, honestly. Our offense had been kind of sluggish for, not scoring 30 points for a few games there, and it's good to break out and to hear those numbers. That's kind of what we've been used to, and good to get back to it.
Well, you're the coach. We get a chance to talk to you, so let me ask you the tough question. What still needs to improve? As you look at where your team is after 3 games, where do you still need to get better?
Well, I think that, you never like to give up big plays on defense. We gave up a few of those. You got to give credit to some of the skill kids they have, but you don't like guys getting behind you, especially when you're not blitzing. If you're blitzing, taking a chance, then that'll happen once in a while. But a couple of those we were just in playing zone. The penalty thing is a deal where you don't want your kids playing timid, but at the same time we had some of those pre-snap penalties, and we need to clean some of those up. And you never know how they're going to call holding. It kind of varies from game to game, and so I tend not to overreact to that, but there's still some of those penalties we can clean up.
You're an offensive guy. Your teams have always been known for big offensive numbers, but I will tell you, in your 4 years, you've had some decent defenses, but this is, without question, the hardest hitting defense we've had. This is a very physical defense. Very
physical, and we're doing a great job. Really, we're doing a great job in the back end, and when those kids catch the ball, they really pay the price for it. And so, got to keep those guys going full steam ahead in terms of that physicality, and keep putting those numbers up on offense. I think we'll be in good shape.
It's kind of ironic. Your guys, when they practice and in the spring and in the fall camp, they have to go against those DBs, some of the best receivers in the country. So when they get the chance to lay the lumber to a guy that's not their teammate out there with a big hit, they're going to do it. And I mean, this secondary has hit the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I've never seen in 3 games, I've never seen so many balls being separated from receivers. So like I said, they're catching a few, but for the most part, when they do, they're laying the wood to those kids.
As we move ahead now to talk Week 4 preparation, the Mules and Truman State 97th all-time meeting could be the last one. We'll get to that in a moment. But what we do know is there is a pretty good chance for rain on Saturday. The first 3 games, we've had massive crowds, big energy surrounding the games. This will be a 7 o'clock kick. The way that Stokes Stadium is set up, there's really nothing on the other side of the stadium. Your team kind of stands over there by yourself. So could be a rainy day that could knock down the crowd a little bit. It's a night game. It's a 3-hour bus ride. To me, as I look at this game from an announcer's perspective, the key to it is the ability to create your own energy, emotion, and focus. Because if you get lulled to sleep this week after the 3 big environments, you could find yourself in trouble.
Yeah, and we've discussed that with our players already, actually, on Sunday. So, you still want them to, have fun playing the game, and ultimately it's what goes on in the field. The crowds are nice and all that stuff. So you want the energy to come from, playing well and having a good week of preparation and letting it play out on the field. So I think the kids will be fine. This last week was a big boost in morale, and they know what they can do when they play well.
The other thing that's unique to football, though, is you talk about getting yourself pumped up and ready to go. You only get 10 guaranteed opportunities. Right. These guys work year-round. They work their lifetimes. Most of them are headed to the back end of their career. Most of their careers will end after college. So the other side of that is it shouldn't be hard to get fired up to play the game you love when you don't get many chances to do it.
Exactly, and I think we have some good leadership from that standpoint. We got some guys that have that energy all the time in practice, and so that really helps too when it comes from within.
Alex Perlin comes to mind. Exactly. I have not seen a practice where he's not imploring his team on to work hard and perform. One of your captains.
Yeah, exactly. And Kirkwood on offense, and we got a number of other guys too.
Well, Truman, the opponent on Saturday, 2-1. We know Greg Nesbitt. He coached here as a DC for a while. His son Kellen, who's the DC there, was a really solid player for us. He's a Mule. Andy Ball, who's on the staff, is a Mule. We know they're going to be a well-coached team. What are your big points of emphasis with your team heading into that game in Kirksville?
Well, really, the focus is on us, and trying to take our game to the next level. And we know there's certainly areas where we can improve, which we talked about. And you always give your opponent credit. We know that they're going to be prepared well, and they're at 2-1, and so they're confident with what they're doing. And this is an opportunity for them. I'm sure they're talking about this is maybe the last time they're going to play the Mules, and so there's a lot into it. They'll be highly motivated, and I don't think our kids will be taken off guard by that.
I spent a lot of time last Sunday analyzing the history for the kind of big lead-up intro right before kickoff. 97th meeting, 68th straight year the teams have met, going back to 1946 after the Heroes returned home from World War II. It's a series that was dominated early by Truman, led by Don Farrow.
Right.
After Fogg Allen had won the first couple games for Central Missouri as the head coach, Howard Mahanes kind of got it going again for the Mules in the 60s. Truman dominated in the 70s. Terry Nolan got it going for the Mules in the 80s. Truman grabbed it back in the 90s. Willie Fritz took the series back after some good battles with the late John Ware in 2000. And you're 3-0 against Truman. This could be it. Who knows? They're now in the GLVC. The MIAA is a closed schedule next year. So this is number 97 and the fourth longest played rivalry in D2, and this could be it. My point to that buildup is for the alumni and friends of the schools, many of whom work together. They're in the same families. This will be the one that's remembered for a long time.
Yeah, it will, and it's kind of sad, really, in a way. I was actually a part of the long rivalry that Northwest Missouri had with Northeast Missouri, and then Truman with the hickory stick. So we're well familiar with their long standing tradition in football and academics there. And so, on one hand, it's sad, but times change, and it's going on at all levels of football.
Yeah, that's the one thing I think we talk about a lot is a few years ago, I think we all assumed college sports would stay the same. And they have rapidly changed and evolved like so many other things. And you just have to do what's best for your school. I have no ill feeling towards Truman at all. If that's the best thing for them, I understand their reasoning. Wish them well. As much as I also like some of the new members that have come to the league. You just have to be ready for change in this day and age in college sports.
My family grew up Nebraska Cornhusker fans, and when they went to the Big Ten, I mean, from the Big 8 and then the Big 12, anything can happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. By the way, I want to congratulate you. We didn't talk about this last week. You were enshrined last Saturday into the Nebraska Wesleyan Hall of Fame. Obviously, you were a little busy coaching the Mules, but pretty special place for you. You became the head coach at, I believe, age 27 there, and did a great job, and they put you in their Hall of Fame last week. Anytime you make a Hall of Fame, that's a special honor, so congratulations.
It certainly is. I appreciate it, and great experience there. Had a administrator that took a chance on a young head coach, and still hear from a lot of those kids, and in fact, from what I understand, many of them are responsible for that happening, so it makes you feel good.
And you had a pretty good staff, too.
Had a good staff, and Coach Boswick, the late Coach Boswick, who was at Northwest Missouri, started with me there. Coach McClung was there, and along with a lot of outstanding players.
As you know, in your business, it's all about your assistants and your players, isn't it?
It is.
Getting the right ones.
That's what makes a head coach smart.
What are some of the biggest things from that experience as a 27-year-old head coach that you still carry with you today?
Well, at that level, it's such a great training ground for a young coach, for any coach really, because you don't have a lot of full-time staff. I had some outstanding guys helping me out, but you don't have a lot of full-time staff, so you got to be super organized because, in a way, I was the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the strength coach, the grounds guy, the travel guy, all that stuff. So I look back sometimes, I wonder how I got it all done. And working for $20-some thousand a year, it was just love of the game, and like I said, was grateful for the opportunity that somebody saw something in me, took a chance, and it worked out well.
Well, congratulations. Best of luck this week at Truman.
Thanks, Shawn.
We'll talk to you next week. Coming up next, we'll shine the student-athlete spotlight on Mules junior tight end Cullen Rosine from just down the road in Knob Noster. That's on the other side of the break, right here on the Central Missouri Sports Page. And welcome back to Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. In this segment, we shine the UCM student-athlete spotlight on Mules junior tight end Cullen Rosine.
started playing probably first or second grade. I started playing flag football and kind of just stuck with it ever since. Played through high school and took a little break my first few years of college and then started playing again my sophomore year. And growing up 10 miles away, it's always just been around. I grew up coming to football and basketball games, and it's just something that I've always wanted to do. We have a lot of guys that I think have bought into what Coach Boda is trying to put together. He's trying to build it. He's trying to build a team from younger guys and build us all up. And we have guys that have been here for a few years now, and we're working together a lot better. And we've been through some off seasons together, and we're just putting it all together. And hopefully, before the season, we can get to where we want to be and perform how we want to perform. When I first came to UCM, I was playing basketball, and I kind of did some soul searching and looked at what the future would be like for me playing basketball, and I just didn't think it was what I wanted. And I've always loved football and thought I could play at the collegiate level. So I asked Coach Boda if I could be on the team, and he allowed me, and I've been on the team ever since. I have personal goals, but I wouldn't, like a lot of people think so many touchdowns and so many yards, but right now I don't really have a reference point because I didn't play much last year, so I'm not gonna say I want to get 10 touchdowns and 1,000 yards or something like that. I'm more focused on the team winning, and whatever comes out of that, I'll accept that. And if we are winning, then I'll be happy. My team expectations are very high. I believe that we can and will win out for the rest of the season and get into the playoffs. Against Lindenwood, we had a lot of people perform at very high levels. I think we had 5 guys with over 100 yards, and our quarterback threw for over 400. So we have a lot of guys playing at a high level, and if we can continue that, we'll be in very good shape. The transition from basketball to football it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, basketball, you have a lot more running, and it's a different style of exercise, I guess, but coming to football, I just had to get used to getting hit a little more and get back into the groove. But basketball was a good stepping stone, and it got me in the shape I needed to be in to play at the college level. Most of my time is spent either watching film or practicing, something to do with football, but outside of football, I'm on Netflix a lot, and so I like watching TV series. Breaking Bad's a really good one. So I spend, I guess, my time outside of football. I just like to relax and watch some TV. My major is safety management, and I'd like to get into the oil and gas field. My relationship with the coaches has come a long way. I mean, from being younger, I don't think they don't expect as much from you, but now that I'm a captain on the team and I'm getting older, they expect more and kind of see me as a way to get through to other guys. So they ask more of me now than they used to, but I accept it and take what they say and try to express that to some of the younger guys, and all they want to do is help me perform to my best ability and help the team perform to their best ability. Yeah, we started off at 0-2, and so now we know as a team that we have to win out to get to the playoffs. So I think we all know we can't take anything for granted and can't take any days off, because we have one slip up and our playoff chances are slim to none. So we know that every game is like a Super Bowl, and we have to come out and win that game.
As Cullen told you, he began his UCM athletic career as a member of the Mules basketball team. Last year, the 6'5" native of Knob Noster made his Mules football debut with 12 catches and a touchdown. So far in 2013, Rosine has 13 catches and 2 TD grabs, joining what is becoming a longer list of college basketball players who find success playing tight end on the gridiron, the most famous convert being future NFL Hall of Famer and longtime Kansas City Chief Tony Gonzalez. Of course, It is illegal to dunk a football over the goalpost in college football, but who knows, maybe that move will be in Cullen's future one day. For now, he's a go-to guy for the Mules who's impressed everyone with the transition from the hardwood to the gridiron. Coming up next on Sports Page, we'll take a look back at how Central Missouri's fall sports teams performed this past week, and we'll visit with UCM cross-country coach Kirk Pederson. All of that's on the way when Sports Page continues in just a moment. Thanks for watching Sports Page here on KMOS-TV. Coming up in just a moment, we'll visit with UCM cross-country coach Kirk Pederson. But first, let's take a look at how the Mules and Jennies performed this past week. And it was a good week for the 6th-ranked Jennies volleyball team. They defeated SBU 3-0 last Friday night at Dr. Peggy Martin Court at the Multi. Julia Bates with 42 assists in the win. On Saturday, the Jennies traveled to St. Charles to take on Lindenwood, and the Gens prevailed with a 3-1 victory. Taylor Goodness with 17 kills to lead the Jennies. Wednesday night, the Jennies stepped out of MIAA play with a trip to Kirksville to take on 18th-ranked Truman State. The Jennies fell 25-12, 25-10 in the first 2 games on the road against a nationally ranked opponent. But they came back to win the next 3 to win the match 3-2. The Jennies undefeated, 13-0 overall, 3-0 in the MIAA. The Jennies did move up 1 spot in the AVCA Division II Top 25 this week, checking in at number 5 in the national poll. The Mules golf team also moved up from number 15 to number 8 in the country this week, and they won the team title at the Northeastern State Invitational held Monday and Tuesday in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Mules beat out 15 other teams for the title and finished 7 shots ahead of the host Northeastern State Riverhawks. Cy Moritz and Sam Mignall finished in a tie for 5th to pace the Mules, shooting +7 for the 54-hole event held in very windy conditions in Tulsa. The Mules are ranked 8th, as I mentioned, and they are behind schools from Florida, South Carolina, and Alabama in that number 8 spot. Jennies soccer got 2 MIAA wins last weekend. They fought the weather on Thursday night, came away with a 1-0 victory on Thursday. Emily Eldridge with the winning goal on a free kick in the 88th minute, a thriller. Then on Saturday, the Jennies got 3 goals from freshman Hannah Moran, who was obviously named the MIAA Player of the Week after the hat trick, and the Jennies rolled, defeating Nebraska Kearney 5-1. Thanks to Moran's 3 goals, Jennies go to 4-1-1 on the season. They are ranked 14th this week now in Division II soccer. The Jennies golf team took part in the SMSU Mustang Invite last weekend in Marshall, Minnesota. Jennies finished in 10th. Freshman Kelly Welker tied for 4th to lead the Jennies. Very impressive 80-76 in the event held at Marshall Country Club. The Mules and Jennies cross-country teams are off and running in 2013. The teams have a couple of events under their belt. Joining us now to talk about his team is head coach Kirk Pederson. Kirk, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me again.
Well, 2 events in, as I mentioned. Give us your overall assessment of the Mules and Jennies here in the relatively early going.
You're right, it's early. I think things have gone very well. We have questions as we started the season with depth on our men's team. I think we have some freshmen and some returners that have filled some nice roles there. And we do have depth issues on our women's team, but we have several that have come back with great summers and I think are really ready to make some improvements this fall.
The Mules have won both races that they competed in. I know it was a bit of a surprise, it seemed, that they went to SBU and won, because SBU is a very good team. And then they won the Mule Run. Are you surprised at how good they've been here through the first 2 races, or is it about what you expected?
Well, I'd hope that. We have strong senior leadership back on the men's team, and there's 3 seniors there that have been through 4 years and 5 for some of college cross country, and went through a little bit of a disappointing season last year. And so I think they've come back with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder and feel like they have something to prove.
You know, it's kind of all or nothing. You've got a few seniors scattered in there, you mentioned, especially on the men's side, and then you've got some really young runners too this year.
Yeah, we do. We have, coming in from the high school to college, it's a tough transition for boys to men's cross country, running 5K to 5 miles and 10K at the end of the season. But we have a couple that have done a nice job and are fitting in very well.
You mentioned on the women's side still kind of searching for that depth. A unique aspect of cross country is at SBU you didn't even enter a full team, and it doesn't really matter. It's all about how you do in the MIAA race, the regional race. Sure, you want to compete well every time you go out there, but these races don't really mean a lot in terms of how your team's evaluated at the end of the year.
Right, and the SBU meet for us was more of a scrimmage or a time trial. We didn't run a lot of upperclassmen at that race, and wanted to get our freshmen and younger athletes some college experience, so to speak, and we did that, and then they were all together at the Mule Run and ran well.
You know, I've told people that in high school cross country, you know, it takes some ability, no question, but you can gut out a lot with toughness. You know, you can become a decent runner if you're committed to putting in the work and being tough and being able to block out the pain. You can't fake it in college. When you go to that greater distance with lots of great runners around you, you have to put in the work. You have to be tough, but you got to be talented too. And it is a big adjustment, just like every other sport, from high school to the college ranks.
And that's, you know, in high school and college, both true that year-round running becomes more important, and it's constant work. It's not work for a month here right before the season. It's year-round training that brings maybe average athletes to be successful.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights from the Mule Run. That was held on September 14th out at Keth Memorial Golf Course at Pirtle Springs, and great event. Great to have that out there. I know you really like having an event on the home course.
You know, it's a great course. We're very fortunate to have that. We train on it several days a week, and we're able to close it down on a Saturday morning, and a very nice Saturday morning in September for a cross-country meet. So we're thankful of that. We had Tim Poe and Chris Port help us out there a lot, and we have all that support. Is really nice. It's a college meet for us. We also have added a high school meet several years ago, and that's grown, and so Wartburg High School obviously always comes, and it's great to have them there and running with us as well.
Just saw Megan Glayman run right past us, junior from Kearney. There she is, the final kick there on the finish. Great performance for her, individual champ on the women's side.
Her first individual champion as a cross-country runner, come a long way, and just like we talked about, the year-round training, pretty average runner when she came to us as a freshman, and went through a lot of struggles, but has developed greatly just from a training aspect, and is a very good runner right now.
A couple other top 15 finishes for you as well.
Allie Rexroth, another one, and then Courtney Clady doing very well as we can see here.
Did you walk away from the Mule Run happy with the Jennies' performance, or what were your thoughts on how the Jennies performed?
Well, we've had, we don't have great depth there right now, but I think we have some athletes that have been injured that are going to come back and help us, that are back but are slow to develop right now. And I think as we get through the season, that's going to change, and we're going to have a chance to be a better team.
How much is a program that you assign these student athletes to get them to their peak, and how much is them knowing running and knowing their bodies, doing it themselves?
It's both, and you know, obviously the summer becomes very important for their training. They're not here with me. We communicate, but it's just about them. Constant work in the summer, and then when we get here, we're hopefully in a good situation to train at a higher level.
Saw a couple of pretty good guys there. Dalton Overly, president, Chuck Ambrose, got a very supportive administration. Dalton obviously was an Elite 89 winner from the NCAA.
We're fortunate to have him. He's a graduate assistant on campus, but you know, he loves cross country and running, and is there every day helping these guys, and still wants to be part of the program, and we're better because of that.
On the men's side, second team win in 2 events, and that's kind of the story of the race right there. A lot of mules running in the front.
That's nice. You know, we scored 15 points in this meet, which is a perfect score, top 5. We're obviously going to see better competition as we go out throughout the year in our conference and regional, but doing that is hard in any competition.
How much in setting the field for this event, Kirk, are you trying to give your team a bit of a confidence boost here early in the year?
Well, definitely our freshmen want to get their feet wet a little bit and have success early and build on that, and hopefully they'll be able to rise to a higher level.
There goes Lobbin, finished 3rd, 2-time MIAA champ, regional champ. You get him running at his best with Adam Tredway, who's been exceptional, and some of the other guys we're seeing here. This team's got a chance to be really, really good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think they'll have to get better, and I think they know that. And as we go to Minnesota this week, we'll see some very good teams in Division II, and so I think they're ready for the challenge of trying to do that.
Adam, Lobbin, Ben, who are some of the other guys? Because you've got really, it appears, 6-7 pretty solid runners.
Tyler Stuber, you know, qualified for nationals last year, is in his 5th year with us, and a strong leader there. Obviously, Lobbin Cialo is another 5th-year athlete that got 3rd in this race, and that's unusual. People were, what happened to Lobbin? But I think that's a combination of him not being quite as ready as we'd like him, and some other of our athletes being very ready right now.
Well, I think too, as a fan, it's difficult to understand the differences, in cross country. I think, when the football team goes out or the basketball team, they have to win every time. When the cross country team goes out, they need to prepare themselves to win when it matters, and that is the difference. And so, as a fan, when you see that, you're like, why didn't he finish first? He's won 2 conference titles and a regional title. How's he finishing third? But he knows his body, the training plan, and it's all about getting him ready to go.
We'll plan on getting him there, and the whole team there. And it's, again, we don't have conference standings. We have a conference race that takes place in October, and then on to regionals.
Good and bad. A lot of pressure one day, but there you see what was a really good day. Neat to get the men's and women's runner of the week, Tredway and Glayman, a couple of champs.
It's been quite a while since we've been able to do that, and so that's always a nice honor for them.
And I tell you the other thing, Kirk, as we talk about this season, for the most part, they've had pretty good weather to run in. We've sat up here and talked before when we've had some brutally hot summers and falls. It's warmed up a little of late, but it's been pretty good training weather.
The first 2 weeks of our practice and the end of August was a challenge, and we had to change some things because of the 95-degree days. But right now it's perfect, and love this time of year. And
you get a little bit of cooler weather too when you head north. You're heading north this weekend, the Roy Griak Invitational in Minnesota. That's an event that you've been in quite a few times. I know you like the field there. Yeah, it's a great day. It's a full day of cross country with a Division I race, a Division II race, a Division III race. There's probably 6 high school races there. So it goes on all day. It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, and teams from all over the country are there. So very fun environment. You're ranked 3rd in the region on the men's side. The Augustana Vikings are ranked number 1. They'll be there. So it'll be interesting to see them, and you'll get a feel for their team. Right, and they're a very good team that finished high in the national meet last year, and I don't know that we're ready to run with them right now, but there's several ranked teams up there that I know beating some of them would give us a lot of confidence. So headed north this weekend, the MIAA Championships coming up before you know it, October 26th, I believe, in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Who do you see, men's and women's side, as some of the teams to beat this year? Well, we have a lot of balance in cross country in our conference right now, and just like every other sport, it's getting better and it's tougher. Missouri Southern men were 8th in the country last year, but they were 3rd in the conference. Fort Hays won the conference, and Southwest Baptist was also a national qualifier. So good balance there, and Missouri Southern, Pittsburgh State, both qualified for nationals last year, but it appears Southwest Baptist on the women's side is a very strong team. Looks like your men have a chance to be pretty good. We talked about the league. You mentioned some of the top teams. Besides Augustana in our region, when you go up to Sioux Falls, South Dakota on November 9th, might need to wear the tights under the cross-country gear there. But who are some of the teams up there you expect to compete with your Mules? Well, Mankato State, Minnesota State Mankato is a strong program, a team that qualified for nationals last year. Sioux Falls is another team that is new to Division II somewhat, but they're very successful in cross-country right now. So looking forward to competing against those guys. In a moment, we're going to spotlight Adam Tredway. Man, it appears to me he has improved greatly from last year where he was a solid runner to this year where he's running at the front of the pack. He's come a long way as coming in from Louisiana, Missouri, limited background in cross country, has learned a lot, and he's developed greatly, yes. Thanks for the chat. We'll talk to you later on this year. Good luck. Thank you, Shawn. In just a moment on Sportspage, as Kirk and I just mentioned, we will shine the student-athlete spotlight on Mules Junior cross-country runner Adam Tredway. That comes up next, right here on KMOS-TV.
This season has been great. We've had 2 meets so far, and we've won them both. We won both our early meets so far, and it's just been really good. Everybody's injury-free. We're just really excited for the next meet, see where it takes us, keep our winning streak going. We gained some new talent. We kind of got some guys who are up and coming, and we also got back Lob Cialo. He's still our #1 guy, and Basically, we just want to focus on moving that pack up more towards lobbing and to kind of compensate for the upperclassmen we lost last year. I don't think we're doing anything too different. It's been about the same as last year. Same workouts, same distance run. We meet up at the same time every day, 3:30 to 5:30. It's just new people. We got six or seven new freshmen. Just trying to get them settled in, kind of get used to the mileage. When I started here, I didn't have cross country in high school, so I had no idea what the sport was even really about. Besides the running part of it, you just ran in a big group of people, and I had no idea what to do. So coming here, I never ran with a team. Back home, I was the only person really that ran in my town. So this is the first time running with a bunch of people, and I had to really get used to that. I had to get used to talking on the runs, and just with the mileage too, running 8 to 10 miles a day. That was that was really changed compared to high school. I think in high school I was hitting probably 50 miles a week, and now I'm hitting up to 90 miles a week, so that's a big change. How I got into running, well, I didn't have cross country in high school, so I had to start off running track. And I just decided one day I wanted to join the distance team. Coach referred it to me, thought it was a good idea. And first couple meets went good. Then high school came by and I was doing really good, and decided I wanted to go to college and run. I wanted to experience cross country for the first time, and now I'm here at UCM. My teammates are my family here. Without them, I wouldn't be the runner I am today. We help each other out during workouts. We train together. We're here every day from 3:30 to 5:30. We run together we run with each other on the weekends. We just do everything we can for each other. My coach here is just great. Kirk is an awesome coach. Like I said, in high school I didn't have cross country, so I didn't know anything about it. And Kirk took me in knowing that I didn't have that background. And all the other people he's coached has had cross country except me, and he's made me the runner who I am today. He's here for me every day. He's really just taught me everything I know about the sport, and he does a lot for this team. He'll go out of his way to drive out to the middle of our long runs to give us water, and he's definitely a great coach here at UCM. Winning the race of the Mule Run was awesome. My first time ever taking first at a cross country meet. I wanted it really bad because the race before that, I got second. So I just really wanted it this time. Like originally the team went out, we wanted to run as a pack, just move into the race the first couple miles as a team. And with 1 mile left, I just noticed I was in the lead, and just kind of went for it. And it was awesome. I've set a couple goals. One is be top 10 at conference and top 25 at regionals, which is all region. As a team, I'd like to see us make the nationals. We haven't been able to do that for the past couple of years, so I think this year will be a good year to do it, because we got 5 bids to the national meet, which means top 5 teams at regionals will advance to nationals. And I just think this is a great year for us to do that. We have a lot of upperclassmen this year. Okay, I'm not really superstitious, but the night before a race, I just like to get at least 10 hours of sleep, I guess. I like to sleep a lot before a race. Food-wise, I usually try to eat a lot of pasta the night before, and maybe have some fruit in the morning. Try not to eat too much. I chose UCM because when I came on a tour here, I just really didn't find anything I didn't like about the place. I thought it was affordable. I loved the campus and the town. And just the people here are great. It's just a really good school, and just being able to run cross country and track really sealed the deal for me. And it's been a great choice. I'm happy here with athletics and academics.
The junior from Louisiana, Missouri finished second at the SBU Invite, and he won the Mule Run, helping lead the Mules cross-country team to 2 event titles in their first 2 races of the season. In just a moment, we'll tell you where all the Mules and Jennies are competing this weekend as Sportspage rolls on after this timeout. And welcome back for one final time this week to the UCM Sports Page. Before we wrap up this show, let's run down our upcoming schedule of events so you know where to follow the Mules and Jennies this week. And we start with Mules football heading to Kirksville for the 97th all-time matchup with Truman State on Saturday. The Bulldogs left the MIAA for the GLBC in July, and the MIAA goes to a closed schedule next year, so this will be the final matchup in the foreseeable future for the fourth most played series in all of NCAA Division II football. Kickoff set for 7 p.m. Saturday night from Stoke Stadium in Kirksville. We'll have it for you on 1450 AM, 98.5 FM, and via the internet or on your smartphone at warrensburgradio.com beginning at 5:40 p.m. on Saturday evening. In other MIAA games on Saturday, Northeastern State is at number 24 Emporia State. Nebraska Kearney is at number 3 ranked Northwest Missouri. 12th ranked Pittsburgh State is at Lincoln. Central Oklahoma is at 18th ranked Washburn in the MIAA TV game of the week. Missouri Southern is at SBU. Fort Hays State is at 6th ranked Missouri Western. And in non-conference action, Missouri S&T is at Lindenwood. The 14th ranked Jennies soccer team takes on Washburn Friday night in Topeka. On Sunday, the Jennies take on Emporia State at 2 p.m. in Emporia. The 5th ranked Jennies volleyball team hosts Missouri Western Friday night at 7 p.m. on Dr. Peggy Martin Court at the Multi. Next Tuesday, the Jennies travel to Rolla to take on Missouri S&T in non-conference action at 6 p.m. The 8th ranked Mules golf team returns to action October 7th and 8th, hosting the Heart of America Invitational at Keth Memorial Golf Course at Pirtle Springs on the UCM campus. The Mules get the chance to host that event once every 4 years. The UCM cross-country teams will be in Minneapolis, Minnesota this Saturday, taking part in the Roy Griak Minnesota Invitational. And the Jennies golf team is off this weekend. They return to action October 7th and 8th at the Central Oklahoma Classic in Edmond, Oklahoma. And that puts the wraps on another edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page. We hope you enjoyed the show. We invite you to tune in again next week to learn more on the Mules and Jennies. In the meantime, visit UCMathletics.com to stay up to date on UCM sports. Until next week, for our entire crew, this is Shawn Jones saying thanks for watching the Central Missouri Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Support for Sports Page is provided by Union Station, Crossroads to Technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs, campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, Crossroads to Technology. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and WarrensburgRadio.com. 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and WarrensburgRadio.com, the radio home of UCM Athletics.